Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be doing a review for you guys on the brand new second studio album from Kota, the Friend, titled Everything. This of course being a follow-up to 2018's Anything. I actually found out about Kota a much different way than a lot of people did, and that was through fellow underground rapper Kari Durgans, who I've had a very close eye on as I love most of his tracks. All the way back from 2016 on his Intern Aquarium album, and on that last aforementioned first studio album, Anything, Kari had a featured track on there, and I loved that track. So, I did a little bit more digging on Kota the Friend at that point. I loved what was his most popular song at the time, titled Chicago Diner. And I use the term fellow underground artist very loosely at this point because Kota has clearly garnered much more respect in the industry than the last time we saw him for a full length. On this album, Kota has employed a lot of features that are in his lane and clearly just come from his cut of music. However, he is employing some huge names for features on here, the likes of Kyle and Joey Badass, and even though Kyle might not have really shown up anytime recently for us, it's still a pretty big name. That's somebody who has a #1 single to his name. Kota's blend of chill, acoustic and jazz, R&B based lyrical rap songs is clearly something that has appealed to a whole lot of people, and rightfully so, as a lot of people are just looking for vibes, and this is the place to find the vibes. Kota's production choice isn't necessarily something that only he does, and it's not entirely unique, but he does have his own special blend that is pretty trademarkable, pretty recognizable for him at this point. The production choices on here are not very unlike his last works, with there really being two types of songs mostly used on here. These being the trap-based acoustic songs, which certainly are mellow, chilled out, and just have this very home-like sense to them, and feel somewhat nostalgic as well. And there is also the jazz-driven tracks, heavy on the saxophones and other brass instruments. These are also very chill, more instrumental than the aforementioned guitar piece cuts, but he brings the solid, relaxed vibes, and that's really something that I want to stress, because that's one of his best aspects, I guess you could say. Every once in a while he does throw things up and switch it up just ever so slightly, like the track Long Beach, where he's got this almost Tyler the Creator type beat on here, with these sampled vocals with pitch shifting and whatnot that come up just about every beat, and this track is a little grating to listen to, unfortunately, and that's just one thing that I don't really like about this song, and really it kind of makes it my least favorite of the actual songs on here. So if this is any indication, maybe if he does things a little bit out of his lane, he should be a little bit more ambitious with it and not kind of take these beats that really sound like other rappers, and he sounds a little out of his comfort zone. Maybe the beat itself is just not something I'm particularly into. I can understand if he's trying to dodge the label of all of his songs sound the same, which is a commonly used critique of a lot of rappers, but I think he really dodges that anyways, because there's just enough likability factor to all of the songs here, and he doesn't overstay his welcome. At 37 minutes and 12 tracks, some of those tracks being interludes, this is a perfect length. Like I said, I don't think he overstays his welcome in any way, shape, or form, and I think that this just flows front to back in a perfect way. There are a lot of special notes to bring up, even if some of it is a little bit samey, like the incredibly relaxing vibes on the opening cut Summer House, or even I can say the same thing about the romantic Park Away, the slightly more lyrically confident Volvo, as well as the solid wrap-up title track that's featured at the end, also feature this perfectly just heavenly vibe heavy aesthetic. Kota is also really deserving of all the recognition that he's recently picking up because of his ear for a catchy hook, his super solid flows, his ability to be lyrical but not corny, and just his overall technique and skill that is really impressive. The hooks on Mikasa, I will again mention the title track, and Away Park include a catchy ass hook that is absolutely infectious. I'd really say we're 8 for 8 out of the actual songs featured here as far as hooks go. Another great moment is that Joey Badass and Boz assisted track that I already brought mention to, B.Q.E, one of the best hooks here. Lyrically, the slightly unfortunate thing is how much Kota topic hops, and it can be a little bit jarring, but he still comes across so genuine that you hardly even notice it. He talks a lot on here about his family, his mother, and his kid in specific, and he even talks about his come up he talks about some of his friendships on this album, and he even talks about his come up into a better situation, and rightfully so, as he's clearly gaining his footing. But you can see how blurry the lines get a little bit, even on the opening cut, Summer House, where he just goes from topic to topic to topic to topic, and it's really kind of hard to follow. There's certain cuts that do have a very heavy lyrical focus. Like, I hate to bring up this track again, but Away Park is a very romantically themed track. And he actually still even talks about some other things here, but it's mostly that. And even though lyrically he sounds super genuine, super nice, and has this certain flow and energy about him that makes me really appeal to his lyrics, I'm not gonna act like he never misses either here. The bar on Always, especially where he says he's got shooters like Columbine, is a little bit out of place and kinda distasteful. The features that he brings on this album, bringing them up once again, actually match his vibe, his aesthetic so perfectly. Hello O'Shea is pretty much the best part of Long Beach and one of the only parts of it that I like. Those contributions really kind of wrap up the song in a somewhat likable way. Toby Lou sounds pretty great on the track that he's on, and he sounds a lot like Kota, funny enough. And I already mentioned how awesome the Joey Badass and Kyle assisted tracks on here are, and it's super cool to just see these recognizable names on a Kota project. So really, all in all, the only duds here are the Long Beach track that I already brought up, and the somewhat unnecessary interlude cuts that are all over this. They do clutter it up a little bit, but they do also add some really nice exposition. They elaborate a little bit and wrap together some of the many themes that he's clearly trying to demonstrate here. It almost makes it feel less cluttered, but more cluttered at the same time. I think if Kota was able to lyrically more heavily analyze, I guess, the things that he was going for, I think it would have been much better than sticking these skits all over it, but I do like them for what they are. I just think that sometimes they kind of kill the momentum a little bit. But the exposition is really nice, especially considering the end of this album, that title track, that he speaks on pretty much every topic that he's addressed on this album, wrapping it up. And, you know, there's a lot to take in, but he does pretty much touch on everything. And he talks about his views on life as a whole, his relationships, his family, especially on this track. And he has a super sweet moment on the back end of this track where he's singing with his kid. And that brought a smile to my face. That made me really happy. I like that a lot. Yeah, so this is a really promising record overall. I think that there could be certain things that you could switch up a little bit, maybe some more ambitious beats and a little bit more reaching of a sound, and I think it could do a little bit less clutter, but overall, like I said, super promising record. Kota is clearly on the upward. I'm so happy that he's finding his footing in the game, and it's really good to see somebody who was underground not even a year ago getting mainstream recognition now. I'm feeling about a 7+ out of 10 on this one. So let me know what you thought of this album down in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Drop a like on the video if you did like what you saw today, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more music related content coming your way as soon as possible and on a very regular basis. My Twitter is linked below for updates and things of that nature if you want to go drop a follow on there. But that is just about going to wrap it up for this one, and I will see you in the next video.